So it's April 26th, still in the midst of home isolating due to the coronavirus pandemic. Let's go ahead and plant some root vegetables. So I live in Iowa, and it's definitely time to get the carrots in the ground. Here's the carrot half of the bed. We're going to make rows that are 1/2 inch deep. So I'm going to put them fairly close together because we're doing a raised bed concept. So let's start making rows. What a beautiful day, this April 26th. I'm going to use my trusty box corner to make 1/2 inch deep rows. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and grab my carrot seeds. First I'm going to plant my kaleidoscope blend. And kaleidoscope carrots are just multicolored carrots. Now, carrot seeds are really small, so it's almost impossible to plant them one at a time. You have to kind of roll them between your thumb and your pointer into the rows as thinly as possible, and then come back later and thin them, which I will show you once the sprouts are up. I'm just barely rolling out as few as I can between my fingers into these rows, and so far I would say I'm doing pretty good, keeping it thin. The last 3 rows I'm saving for regular carrots. Just your basic old orange ones. That's good for the kaleidoscope seeds. Alright, so I got my regular orange carrot seeds here. I'm going to give them a whirl. Okay, and that's it. I'm going to go ahead and gently pat that soil back over and evenly water. And that's all there is to it. I'm going to do something else. Alright everybody, it's May 15th. Let's find out what's happening in the garden today. The carrots are sprouting, although from this view I doubt you can hardly tell. So I'm going to try to get right up on a row so you can see what the little sprouts look like. Okay, so here we go. These dinky little green things here are the carrot sprouts. That's what they look like. Here's another handful of them. Pretty hard to see, you know, but that's what they are. Anyway, the carrots get 2 thinnings, and the first one takes place when they're about 4 inches tall. You thin to a thumb width part, which means you just, it's basically like a 1/2 inch. You just pull them out till they have a 1/2 inch space. Then there's a second thinning. Once they get bigger. And during that thinning, you actually end up with some baby carrots. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get some water on these bad boys. Carrots are very easy to grow. They require a little maintenance. Looks like I'll be doing some weeding here soon. A lot of foreign plants growing. I pull most of my weeds by hand. That's pretty evenly watered. So I'll get you another close-up on these carrot sprouts now that the ground's been watered. So there you have it. It's May 20th. I just got done with a home workout, and I come out to the garden and noticed my carrots are starting to sprout their true leaves. Let's have a look. You can kind of see them a little bit there. Really small yet. There's some over here. It's kind of coming out a little bit. Right now the sprouts are maybe an inch or a little bit more tall. You can see the little true leaves sprouting out of the center there. Pretty sweet. We're gonna head out and start thinning them here pretty soon once they get to about roughly 3 to 4 inches tall. Catch you later. It's been about a month since I planted carrots, and as you can see, they're about ready for their first thinning. So I'm gonna go ahead and take you through the journey today of thinning your carrots. They're almost 3 to 4 inches tall, which indicates it's time. So I'm going to go ahead, thin them to about a thumb width apart. Take this spot for example. There's a pretty decent cluster there. So I'm going to go ahead, pull a couple of those out of there. Thin to about that distance. Here's another pretty big cluster. Now I've chose to do this on a day when the soil is already damp, They come out of the ground easier, and you disturb the surrounding plants less. Well, let's go ahead and speed this thing up. I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. Pulled quite a few so far. Also, when you're thinning your carrots, you want to not just focus on spacing, but you want to look to pull out some of the more scrawny plants. And that's about the right space on your first thinning. Once all the radishes are up, I'm going to go ahead and plant carrots in their place for a second wave of carrots. It's June 20th, and you can see that the carrots are thriving really well. Still spaced at a thumb width apart. So we want to go ahead and do our second thinning now. Bring them a little bit closer to 3 inches apart. It's been a little less than a month since I last thinned them. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this one out here and show you what it looks like. So that's about the right size for the second thinning. This is a purple variety here. I planted a kaleidoscope blend of carrots. So let's go ahead and get started. Another rule of thumb is you want to try to pick the scrawnier ones. It's sometimes hard to do though, because in order to get that 3-inch spacing, sometimes you have to pull the bigger one, I've noticed. But I really do try to get the scrawny one. These are pretty scrawny. This one's more edible. So I'm definitely going to come out of it with some baby carrots today. Well, shoot, let's go ahead and time lapse this. think that looks pretty good. Once I'm finished, I give them a little drink of water. Even though the ground was already moist. Just because when you're pulling them, you disturb the surrounding roots a little bit. So I feel like any of the ones that got a little disturbed will reset once they have this water. Now that it's all said and done, I'm pretty close to that 3-inch spacing. It's not perfect, but then again, it doesn't really have to be, as long as you're close. And as you can see, the carrot bed is looking quite a bit thinner. But now they can grow to their full size. And I walked away with a pretty decent pile of baby carrots. Little snack-sized carrot bites. So there you have it. Well, it's July 18th, and I do believe that these carrots are ready. So let's go ahead and yank a few of them suckers out of the ground. You can see the carrots are getting pretty thick and really tall. Some of them have went to flower, which means they're basically inedible. So those ones aren't going to be very good to eat. So I'm going to go ahead and give them a little drink of water here before we get started. This kind of wets the ground, loosens it up a little bit, makes them easier to pull out of the ground. And just probably pull up a row today and leave the rest for later. They store perfectly fine in the ground. And if you have trouble pulling them up at all, sometimes you need this little guy. I have problems every so often with the tops breaking off and the root getting left in the ground. So that's what I use that shovel for. Alright, let's get started. So in order to harvest, grab really close. Make sure you grab all of them. Grab really close to the root, pull straight up. And there we have a mighty fine looking purple or red carrot of edible size. We'll set that off to the side. So just grab, pull straight up. And there's a carrot. These ones are a little small, but that's alright. You're going to get different sizes. Some are going to be ready, some aren't. It's okay. This one will probably be good. Yep. This one's being stubborn though. Gotta wiggle it a little. Whew. Man, that is a really big purple one. It's kind of hard to tell right now because it's covered in dirt. Well, no problems yet with them breaking off. That one's a nice long skinny one. This one's going to be a full-size run. All different shapes, sizes, and colors. That one's not going to be ready for sure. We'll leave that one behind. This one looks like it could be done. Oh. Yeah, that one's not too bad. Long, skinny one. This one I definitely want to get out of the ground. There we go. Oh, and it ended up being a short, stubby one. Really oddly shaped. Now I'm going to take the hose and give them a little rinse. These purple ones are especially dirty. And here's today's catch. What a beautiful harvest.